Okay, that's cool. Anyways, what's up? I I just got to the gym and I had some thoughts rattling in my head, and I wanted to just record a video and kind of talk about some of them. And I'm probably gonna eat during this. I got some egg white bites from Starbucks and a coffee. And you probably noticed I have the same shirt on from last time. That's because I only actually own one pair of clothes. I'm kidding, obviously. I just like to wear this shirt. So anyways, I had some thoughts, and I was thinking a lot about the topic of self-love, and that's kind of what I want this video to be about. So what is self-love? I feel like our society has kind of like a twisted, warped perception of what self-love and loving yourself actually is. I think our society has a very vain, egotistical perception of what loving yourself actually means. I feel like, especially like a lot of these girls you see on Twitter or whatever, they'll post things like, I love myself so much, I'm obsessed with myself. Or they'll post a picture of themselves in the mirror and they'll be like, I'm so obsessed with how I look or whatever. And to me, I just think that's a very vain, egotistical perception of what loving yourself is. Like, people think that loving themselves means that, you know, they're perfect and anything they do, they could do nothing wrong because they love themselves, and they have to think they're perfect, and they think that's what loving themselves actually means, which, in my opinion, it actually isn't. So now that I've explained what I think society thinks self-love is, I'm going to explain what I actually think self-love is and what I believe God thinks loving yourself means. So, what is actual self-love? I believe that actual self-love is acknowledging that you have faults and that you make mistakes, and being able to forgive yourself for having those faults and making those mistakes. It's like a friend or a family member. Think of your children, if you're a parent, or your brothers or sisters or parents or whatever, or your best friends even. If you love someone and they make a mistake and it's a genuine mistake, if you truly love them, a lot of the times you'll forgive them for that mistake and you'll continue loving them. This is what God means when he says to love yourself. He means that you're an imperfect person. We're all imperfect. We all make mistakes and do bad things sometimes. And even though you make mistakes, you should forgive yourself and accept the fact that you're going to make mistakes and not hate yourself for those things. You're going to make mistakes every day of your life. When you do, you need to learn to forgive and forget and let go of those mistakes. So, yeah, and a lot of people also think that self-love means that, like, you're going to treat yourself, you're going to go out, and when you want to, you know, eat something or get fucked up or whatever, that you're going to just go do that. And that's like a form of self-care, and you're taking care of yourself by having like a fucking milkshake or eating like a fat piece of shit. Excuse my language. And to me, I also don't think that's really loving yourself. I think that's sabotaging yourself in a way. I think when you love yourself, you want to actually hold yourself to a higher standard. Like, think about how people feel about their kids. Like, you don't want your kids going out and partying all the time and getting drunk and getting into trouble and sleeping around. Like, you want your kids to study hard, eat healthy to a certain extent. Sorry if the sun's like really shining. I don't know if it's screwing up my camera. It looks fine. Anyways, where was I? Yeah, if you love your children, you want them to do well. You don't want them to be out fucking off all the time. You want them to study hard. You want them to eat well, take care of their bodies, you know, do things that are good for them in their future. And in my eyes, I think that's, you know, how you should treat yourself as well. I think if you want to love yourself, then you should have goals. I think hitting the gym and exercising is one of the biggest expressions of self-love, because it shows that you care about your body, you care about your health, you want to do better and be a better person and take care of yourself. Reading, philosophy, self-help, all that stuff, that's all a form of self-love. Self-love is not drinking, partying, sleeping around, eating like a fat fuck. It's none of those things. That's all a form of self-sabotage, and in my opinion, it's the devil's work, and it's just very self-serving. Like, Real self-love is self-giving, because you love yourself enough to the point where you have excess to give to the world. All right, this is a second recording. I was watching the previous one back, and I was listening to some of the stuff I said, and I realized there was a little bit more that I wanted to talk about. So I was listening to the part where I was saying how, you know, there's some girls, or guys even, they'll like post on Twitter or Instagram and be like, I'm obsessed with myself, and it'll be like a selfie or whatever. And you got to think, we're living in 2026. We live in a world surrounded by mirrors, surrounded by cameras. We're constantly looking at ourselves and other people and comparing ourselves to other people. Now, back in the old days before we had these things, the only time you would really see your own face is like if someone drew a painting of you, or if you seen your reflection in the water or something. So I feel like back then, our actual appearance compared to other people's, it was like much less of a concern than it actually is now. And I think the fact that it's such a concern now that people care about how they look so much and how they're compared and perceived by others, I think that's really damaging to people's psyche and society. I don't think you should be that concerned with your actual appearance. I don't think you should be that concerned with how you appear compared to other people. So, yeah, I think it's just, that's all really toxic, and it's just all very vain and rooted in ego. I think real self-love, it's about worrying about what's on the inside and the impact that you have in the world and on others. I don't think it really has anything to do with how you look, because at the end of the day, you know, you could be the best looking person on earth, you could be the hottest girl, best looking dude, whatever, but I know there's a lot of people that'll probably disagree with this, but I don't care. This is what I believe. If you're the best looking person in the world and you're a really shitty person on the inside, you're ugly and you're a piece of shit. And to me, and I know a lot of other guys feel this way, I can't really speak for women, if a girl's a 10 out of 10 and she has an ego, she's very conceited, she's controlling, manipulative, whatever, she instantly goes to a 0. Like, I would rather, I'm engaged, so obviously this is all hypothetical, but I would much rather date a girl who's physically unattractive and has a good heart and is a good person than date a fucking supermodel who's just a piece of shit on the inside. So, yeah, those are just the rest of my thoughts. I think this is going to be the whole video, so hopefully you learned something, or you could, you know, relate to something I said or whatever, but I just wanted to yap. So, yeah, see you next time.